Today we stopped with the, the couplet about the valor of the Tamils. So there are some more things that Mr. Subrahmanyam brings up, some of the gems of Tirukkural. So here is one. The Tamils 2000 years ago had trade and commerce with other communities, not merely in our country but also in the rest of Asia and in Europe. The Tamil states exchanged ambassadors and plenipotentiaries with other states in Bharat and with foreign nations. The Tamils had no doubt their, their civilization had no doubt that their civilization had the stability of the laws of nature. Before I proceed, I'm aware some of you have requested um, some text to follow so that you can follow what I'm talking or what I'm reading from. I will try. I've got that in mind. There are a couple of options I can look into. I can have the video which simultaneously will show captions at the bottom. What I find is sometimes the captions misspell or misunderstand what I say, and so you have to be careful about that. The other possibility is I can scan this page and place it for you to read later on. But if I have the text copied, then there is no need for me to read it. So I have to think about that. And also, it's a question of copyright, I'm afraid. Though this book is out of print, uh, I'm not sure if I can copy it and display it. Uh, I think there's no problem in reading from it collectively. So I have to look into that also. Or I may have to make slideshows, but it all depends. As so far, there is no participant except one, and though you don't have to be here when I'm doing it live, if you don't have the time, uh, you can follow the recordings later and give me the feedback. And if you want, we can schedule a time where we can talk one on one. If you want to talk and give your ideas and uh, give your contributions. So these are in my mind, and I will be looking into these things. And one of my friends has suggested Zoom on YouTube. Uh, I have no problem. I'm familiar with Zoom, YouTube, Google Meet, and a host of other possibilities. But at this time, I got more friends from Facebook, and I got this Facebook group. If Zoom is subscribed by too many people, and so I find I've got a couple other meetings going weekly with Zoom, but it gets locked up, and there is too much traffic into Zoom. And YouTube is no problem. Once I do this, record it, I can always put it in my YouTube channel, and I will let you know where my YouTube channel is. You can go and review it there. So that's no problem. But Zoom is good only when you have enough people. But it's not possible to have a group in Facebook and a group in Zoom, and uh, there is no point in doing it. If there are four people, four younger generation who cannot read Tamil or the non-Tamils who are familiar with the word Tirukkural and would like to know the and get the benefit of the wisdom. That is what this site is for. So it's not for marketing or advertising or propagating. So real interest, and if that I will schedule, I can work. I'm very flexible because I'm retired and I don't go out too much. We can work out. But for now, I'll continue with my schedule. I will sit in front of the computer and be live twice a day on Tuesdays and twice on Thursdays. It is 8:30 in the morning and 8:30 in the night, India time, on Tuesdays and Thursdays. And uh, I will also record what I read, and then if you have questions, you can ask, you can put it in the comments, you can add your contributions, etc., etc. So to continue here, I think we read this last in the last part also yesterday, but I will just continue from the foreword by Honorable Justice Subrahmanyam. To a sage in Tamil Nadu came the call to create a literary work in which the way of life of the Tamils would be permanently portrayed. The sage was Thiruvalluvar, and he wrote in the Kural, to which I have the privilege to introduce the reader. It was written about 2000 years ago. Uh, See, note that this is not so much to teach. Of course, we can use it as a wisdom to follow. But another angle to look at it is actually this, whatever this 1330 couplets depict, they are really reflections of the life of Tamil people during the time of Thiruvalluvar. So they were practicing these things. These were accepted practices, and they were put down for record. And so there is more a documentation of the way of life than a codification of moral laws and practices. Thiruvalluvar was not called upon to build an utopia or construct a new heaven and a new earth in the rarefied atmosphere of abstract thought. He was proud of the society in which he lived. There were, to be sure, in that society, wicked men and waterless wastrels as well as men of nobility and virtue. With sure strokes, he painted both sets of men. That is it says Kayamai and Panbudamai. That is the mean behavior and good character people. But he was satisfied that the society had been organized with an eye to maintain conditions in which very it would be easy for men to lead a moral life, and that men were not left in doubt as to their functions and place in society or as to their ultimate destiny. In broad divisions and under suitable subheads and in separate chapters, he described the life and attributes of the ordinary citizen, that is the householder, the sage, that is the ascetic, and the king, ministers of state, and other men of power and influence. In depicting the life and manners and in formulating rules of conduct for individual success and social harmony, he reminded men constantly of Aram, the great power which keeps ceaseless watch over individuals, the state, and society, and which confers on lives lived in accordance with its principles, riches beyond measure, both material and spiritual. This is where we stopped yesterday, but to elaborate, the idea is that there are a couple of ideas that have been brought up here. The in general, were highly cultured, and so some of this practice. But as always, there were also people who would violate and who would be egotistic and all that. So he also mentions them too, so that we can identify. And this is actually into three books. You can call them. There are the practices for householder who lives with the married life with the family, children, and who protects kith and kin, who is doing the charity to support the the dependent people like the young children, senior adults, and others who are disabled, and all kinds of people who need help. So the householder's duty is, because he is able and can can earn his living, should be able to support his family and also support others who depend on him. And then the renounced ascetics, because there were already there were influences of Buddhism and Jainism along with Hinduism, and there were people like Adi Shankara and many such people. There are many Saivite saints, and they were all uh, educating people or giving people the spiritual aspects. So they will be, they can't support a family. So normally they will renounce the material life and concentrate on spirituality. So he has documented and also indicated what are the duties and responsibilities of a householder, what are the duties and responsibilities of an ascetic, and then the the rules of successful leading for the king and his council. So though it was it says king, we can easily apply that today to anybody who is in a leading position, a manager, a CEO, or state governor, minister, president, and such people, and the secretariat or the group of people who are specialized in different areas and who give uh, the advice and chart or direct the king in the proper direction. And even today, with the democracy, with the big country, India was perhaps divided into 500 small states at the time of independence, and we don't know how many more before that. And after independence, all of all of those states have been combined, and it has become one big country. But still, we have to have defense. We still have to be alert about the possibility of an enemy trying to take over by different means. So there should be people spying, people advising the. So all those things are given. So there are 113, 33 chapters divided into three books, and each chapter has got 10 couplets, and they are well organized. They tell, for example, if you take the minister to the king, it tells what are the good what will be a good qualification, and what should the king be aware of to avoid a minister who may have ulterior motives, and so on. So it's very well organized. Okay. So I think I'll stop here and have it recorded.